it becomes a negative becomes a positive, and a positive becomes a negative. And then line it up, and you can just go back to adding polynomials. Now for your assignment, page 112 in the workbook, you can do 1 through 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then 19 through 26, and you're going to turn that into me. And this is under 9-1 in your workbook. AX squared plus BX plus C. So you have a number here other than 1. And this is using the slide method. It's on page 487 in your Prentice Hall Algebra 1 book. Okay, the problem will say factor. It'll say a little bit more on the SOL. It'll say factor completely, or what are factors of. So the first thing you do is you multiply with the slide method. You multiply this number, your A, by your C. Okay? So you do 6 times 7, and you get 42. Now you're going to take that number, and that's going to become your new C. So imagine that you had taken away that number. Imagine the way you had taken away that 6. You rewrite the problem. So now you have n squared plus 23n plus 42. Okay? So this is your new equation. You're going to rewrite the equation. I have these instructions on the system. Now the next thing you do is you do a T-bar. And you want to put numbers that when I multiply, right there I get 42, the same two numbers that when I add, I'm going to get 23. So you need to think to yourself, what two numbers when I multiply I get 42? And what other numbers do I get that I add and get 23? So the numbers are 2 times 21. That'll give me 42. And then 2 plus 21. And look and see, I'm using the same identical numbers. You cannot use different numbers. You have to use the same identical numbers. So 2 plus 21 is 23. So now, you're going to take these two numbers that you came up with and you're going to put them into the problem. So you draw 2 sets of parentheses. Okay? You're going to put an N here. You're going to put an N here. You can put this number right here and this number right here. You can mix it up and put 21 here and 2 here. But you have to have these two numbers. Okay? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to divide by A. Okay? So this would be your A. You divide by your original number A. So everything gets divided by 6. Okay? So now, before you can do anything, you need to see if this can be reduced. Or else you're not going to get the right answer. So 2 over 3 can be reduced. It can be reduced to 1/3. Meaning there's 2 times 1 and 2 times 3. Now on this end, do 21 and 6 have any number in common? And they do. They have 3 in common. Okay? So 3 times 7 and 3 times 2. Okay? You're not finished yet. Okay? That's why it's called the slide method. After you have reduced it, this is the part where you're reducing. Then you're going to slide this number back to the front. Okay? So for your final answer, you would get 3n plus 1 times, bring that 2 forward, 2n plus 7. Now, I'm going to check this answer. When you come back, I'm going to check this answer and I'm going to show you that it is the correct answer to be able to get this. Now, this is our final answer. We had to reduce it to get to this answer. You could not leave it like this, okay? So now we're going to check it. I want to see if this is the right answer. Are these the factors to give me 6n squared plus 23n plus 7? The first thing you do, you're going to use distributive property. So you do 3n times 2n and n times n. So you get 6n squared. Okay. And then you're going to do 3n times 7. So you get 21n. 1 times 2n plus 2n. And then 1 times 7. Whenever you do that, you have the middle portion that you have to put together. Okay? So you got 21n and 2n, which gives me 23n. So my final answer would be 6n squared plus 23n plus 7. this is my, this is my check, and this is actually my answer. This is my answer. So when I got this over here, this was my answer. They wanted to know the factors. These are the factors for 6n squared plus 23n using the slide method. You can use the guess and check method, but this method is a lot easier. Okay, now we're on factoring, but when you look at this problem, it'll just say factor, okay? But the thing you need to look at to save yourself is, do they have anything that I can factor out? I want to factor out a monomial, 20, 80, and 35. They all have 5 in common, okay? So I would factor out 5. One way that you can do this to help some people is to do like this. 5 times 4, x squared, plus 5 times 16, x plus 5 times 7. And once they write out all of the numbers, then they can kind of keep it together. So we see that we have all 5s that are in common. Okay, so we have this 5 in common, this 5 in common, and this 5 in common. And what you do is you put that to the outside. So 5. Okay. Now, what you're left with, you're going to pull in 4x squared, because I'm left with it right there, plus 16x plus 7. You got a plus right there and a 7. Okay. Now that you have it down to that, now you can go back and do the slide method. Okay. So I want to find factors that, so let's multiply this number by this. Okay. And you get 4 times 7 will give me 28. Okay. So now you have used up that 4, rewrite the equation. And this becomes your new C, the 28. Okay, so now I multiplied 4 by 7 and got 28. I rewrote it, x squared plus 16x plus 28. So now I want two numbers that when I multiply I get 28. The same two numbers when I add I get 16. So I know 2 times 14 will give me 28. I know that 2 plus 14 will give me 16. Once you get your numbers, then that's when you go to your parentheses. Okay? So it would be x plus 2, and then x plus 14. Now you're going to divide all of it by your 4. Okay. You need to reduce this. 2 over 4 is 1/2. And then 14 and 4, the number they have in common is 2. Okay, so 2 times 7, give me 14, and 2 times 2. Okay, so now you have these two. This is when you're going to slide it back forward. So you have x plus 1/2 and x plus 7 over 2. So now you take this and slide it to the front, and this you slide it to the front. You write it as 2x plus 1, that 1 drops down, and then you do 2x plus 7, okay? And then if you factor that out, the thing that you factored out was the 5, okay? So if they ask you for the factors of this, it would be 5, 2x plus 1, and 2x plus 7. This would be your final answer. And to check it, you would just go in reverse. You would multiply these all back again, and then multiply it by 5. So this is your actual answer. Okay, and this is factoring out a monomial. Next, I'm going to give you your assignment that you need to do for this section, 9-6. Okay, now this is your assignment. It's coming out of the workbook, page 122. I want you to do 1 through 10. These are factoring problems of the type ax squared plus bx plus c. You're going to use the slide method, or if you want to use the box method or guess and check, that's your choice, but I showed you the slide method. This is an assignment that you need to turn into me if you're homebound or if you're trying to get ahead and make up the assignment.